clouds. We got to navigate around these clouds so that we can see where we're going.
Turn right, crosswind runway.
And see other people than they can see us. What are we up to? 47. We're not even that high yet. Now what's going to happen is these clouds are going to get higher and higher as we're flying. As the day heats up, the cloud bases go up, 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 up. Feel it's starting to smooth out.
Yeah.
Zero traffic, Dakota 8054 Bravo, turning left downwind runway, right downwind runway, 23 again.
Like I said, I'm not really doing much. Occasionally, if it gets, turned one way, I'll kind of straighten it up. But for the most part, not much to have to do. Might go up, see, we're going to get up pretty high today. So let's say you were wanting to go somewhere, right?
Right.
You could get up on top of this and fly there, and you just have to deal with the bumps when you come down.
Huh.
But it'll be smooth getting where you're going.
And with traffic, Cherokee 8820 Juliet. Turn right, crosswind 23 green.
Might have that vent open a bit much.
Yeah, it's going to cool off up here. What I'm trying to do is keep us into an open area here. Now this airplane will go up to 10,000 without much trouble.
Traffic, Cherokee 8820 Juliet, turning right, downwind 23. Let you go.
That's just funny. I was up on my glider the other day and I stayed above 6,000 most all day with no engine.
Oh, really?
Between 6,000 and 7,000 feet with no engine.
That's just mind-blowing.
Usually when I see power planes for my glider, they're below me.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of it. People wouldn't think that, but normally in my glider, of course, I want to stay high because altitude is my friend. That's fuel in my gas tank.
Dude, this is awesome.
Yeah. Now, technically, we're in the process of doing it. The legalities are we're supposed to stay 500 below a cloud, 1,000 feet above the clouds. I think 2,000. In other words, just don't get really, because somebody might come popping out of that thing in a jet and not see us, right? So we want to stay where we can see people and people can see us. That's what all those numbers are about. Yeah. So you could go somewhere today, right?
Right.
Comfortably.
Once you get past the takeoff.
Once you get past the takeoff, and then you got to deal.
That was rough.
Then you got to deal with the landing.
Rough.
We'll plan to land runway 193.
Now here's another thing. We'll bump. You always learning something. Let's say we were going somewhere today. We're going to Knoxville.
Right.
Well, if we're heading VFR to Knoxville, and we're going to cruise along, what we do, kind of like driving on the right-hand side of the road, is we'll stay at 8,500 feet. And the guys going east will stay at 7,500 feet.
Okay.
Going west, you're going to be even number plus 500. Going east, you're going to be at a 500. So, we're less likely to hit somebody head on.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sort of the right way.
Wow, this is crazy.
Yep. And this is legal.
Wow.
And it makes sense, right? There's the Hungry Mother Lake.
Traffic Cherokee 8820
I was getting
Juliet.
there to ask you what that was.
Do what?
I was getting ready to ask you a minute ago what that was.
Yep, that's Hungry Mother Lake. I gotta push up my vent now. And it looks like it kind of opens up a little bit even more out that way. How's our oil pressure? It's good. So we're climbing. Looks like it likes to climb at about 90, probably. I'm flying it a little too fast. You know what I mean? I'm more comfortable that way. But about 90, I think, will give us our best rate of climb, VY. We'd have to check the book. But I've been probably letting it get a little bit fast.
Going to be entering a left base runway 23. Horn. Field traffic. 054 Bravo. Turning right. Cross runway.
So this is our airspeed. This is telling me ground speed. I wonder why it's not telling me airspeed.
Yeah, because it won't. It's not hooked into anything here to give you an airspeed.
Okay, gotcha.
Now they do sometimes. I've just in my reading, I've seen that they can if you have that function, and it gets hooked into the pitot system. If it gets hooked into the pitot system, you could have that. But our ground speed's going to be really slow because I bet we've got 20 or 30 knots of headwind right here. As a matter of fact, we do some slow flying. I might be able to show you the airplane back up. I've done that before with students. I said, okay, I get them slow flying. And I said, now look down at the ground. Anything look unusual? And they go, oh my gosh, we're going backwards. That's an Cessna 150.
Wow. We're really up here now. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
What we'll do is we'll level off at 85. And cruise out here a little bit. And I want to try to find some, really open spot under us so that if we do have a problem, we can land. But I'm impressed. This thing got right up here to 85. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the power in here and until I get it up on plane. You know what I mean? Like on a boat. Until it gets planed out good. And I'm going to push forward. I'm not going to trim yet, but I'm just going to gradually hold a little pressure on the yoke, let it speed up. There's Abingdon. We might go over and fly over and see Abingdon. Okay, so now see, it's finally getting some speed and it's wanting to climb, so I got to hold this nose down.
Julie, turn right, cross scan, runway 23.
I'm holding it there. Look at the airspeed coming up. I'm having to apply a little more pressure. Now I'm going to pull the power back to a cruise of about 23. Now what we got to watch for is these clouds to come up. You know what I mean? They might start coming up under us and get us pushing us up higher than we want to be.
Greenville traffic, Dakota 8054 Bravo, right base for runway 23.
I'm having to trim the nose down. RPM staying in there. We'll see what we... Now, we got a strong headwind, but we turn around and go the other way, we'll have an impressive ground speed.
Okay.
So what we've done is we're showing about 24. You can use your charts to see what cruise speed is, but we've set up level flight here.
Okay.
And you're cruise along headed for Knoxville.
All right.
At the correct altitude.
Greenville traffic, Dakota 8054 Bravo.
Now I guess you probably on your map you probably see Abingdon here. I just touched it, I think.
That's all right.
Probably screwed you up.
Abingdon Airport. Right?
And that's Tri-City's probably right there, isn't it? We got to watch out. We're going to fly into that. Get in trouble.
Got another plane, but he's 319 knots.
Is way above us.
Yeah.
I didn't get it either this morning, Steve.
No, 45,000 feet.
How many?
45,000, is that the feet?
25?
45.
Oh, 45. That's way up there. Okay, so what happens is once we get ourselves up here and we're not accelerating, check this against that, tweak it.
All right, looks good.
And look at your attitude and see if that's where you like it.
Okay. All right.
So if you're in the clouds right now, we could fly on these.
Scramble traffic, Cherokee 8820.
This airplane, I'm sure it was probably IFR certified.
23,
Of course, the things we're looking at is this, that, and you just keep going around and around.
County Solid 64.
Yeah, so our ground speed's only 62.
Yeah, we're bucking 30 knots of wind probably. Not a good day to go. It'd be a good day to go to Norfolk. Not a good day for Knoxville.
Not a good day to Knoxville, huh?
Of course, you want to make sure that you got enough fuel, right? You start hitting this kind of headwind, that's the first thing you better do is start checking your fuel. Okay, so this cloud over here, we got to stay away from it. And so these things are going to keep coming up. We got to watch that. Okay, you have the controls.
I have the controls.
And just fly us around this side over here. Let's go take a look at the Abingdon Airport.
Greenville traffic, at 8054 Bravo, right crossline runway 23 Greenville.
I'm going to give you some more power because it's kind of faded out there. That Abingdon Airport's right over here.
It looks like we're still a little bit ways from it.
Are
we're
we?
about halfway in between the two.
It's still out. You see it on there, still ahead of us?
Yep.
Is that it right there?
Yep.
Okay.
Wilkesboro, open at 9363, Quebec, short final runway 01 Wilkesboro.
Greenville traffic, at 8054 Bravo, right downwind runway 23 Greenville. County traffic, 64508 is...
Yeah, just see this kind of clear area. Let's just kind of use it, okay?
Climbing through 2,800 for 3,000.
Where you can see and avoid traffic.
We'll be part of the pattern out towards the north-northeast.
Now up here at a higher altitude, the airplane will stall at a higher speed, okay?
Okay.
And so we won't look at it. We're not going to do a lot of stalls, but we'll do some slow flight, okay? Once we get into an open area, we'll do a little bit of slow flying.
If we find one.
Yeah, it is kind of open right over here. The clouds aren't that high. We can see under us.
Gaining altitude.
Yep, you just got to kind of get used to it.
So I need to cut it back a little bit or just pitch
Nah, just trim it. I added that power, and that's one reason you're probably
Greenville traffic.
you probably gained that altitude because I added that power.
Runway 23, touch and go, Greenville.
I've been trimming down.
Yeah, because it keeps building speed. It keeps building.
Okay.
It's a very slow process, right? It's kind of like your car going over a hill, you know, if you had pulling the load. It takes a while to speed up. Yeah, now it's getting up there. And I'm keeping the RPMs up there a little bit.
Choppy.
Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. Okay. This is about as good an area as I've seen so far.
All right.
So I have the airplane for a second. Let me just show you a little bit about slow flight, okay? We're going to slow down. Whoa, I don't want to pull it too far back. I'm going to pull it back to about 1700, and I'm going to try to stay up here. And I'm going to fly around slow at 8500, okay? Now what happens is, you'll notice I got to hold this yoke back here, okay?
Right.
And I'm not going to get too slow on you. But look at the wing. See how the wing's pointing up more? The airspeed, we're down to 70. Now I'm having to hold back on this yoke.
Right.
And when I go to turn or do anything, the controls are mushy. That's another thing you got to learn from this. The controls, look, I mean, they're not doing, you know, and I'm using the rudder. You're definitely going to start using the rudder. What you'll feel is, see the ball here?
Uh-huh.
You'll learn to glance at it, but not look, but the airplane will start trying to peel to the left. The P factor and stuff, the torque of the prop is going to try to carry you left. Now notice I've got the air thing here. The airplane's slowing down to 60, and I'm going to have to add some power. It's a gradual process, right? I'm adding power to keep it here. But this is like a boat that's pushing a bow weight.
Okay. 27 miles an hour, right?
Yeah, look at this. Look, I'm flying up to 2,000 RPM. But that's because we're pushing all this air. We got a lot of induced drag right now. The wing is working really hard to make lift, and I'm pulling hard. Now that's also what happens when you land the plane. You're pulling on that yoke, right? Now this is, let's fly. We're going to fly at about 65.
Okay.
Okay, that's about the speed we're going to fly at. We don't need to go any slower. This is slow flight. It'll demonstrate it for you. Now when you turn, it's also like, if I let off that rudder, and then it really isn't taking too much rudder, this particular airplane. But notice, look, 2,000 RPM, and we're really not going anywhere. We haven't picked up any speed. And I'm watching the clouds, because we want to make sure we can get down through the clouds, and that's not a problem. So this is slow flight.
Okay.
Now I can tell you, I'm pulling pretty hard.
That is amazing. Wow.
Now I can feel, since I'm flying, I can feel the wind pushing us this way. But with the clouds and the wind and everything like it is, I think I'm just going to do the demo. We'll wait for another day.
I'm good with that.
You good with that?
I'm definitely good with that.
Okay. We'll just give you a demo. You can see what it looks like up here and see what it takes to get back down and give you a look at slow flight. See, I'm holding this altitude, and you can do this with practice. It takes practice to do this.
So I guess my question would be, you know, everybody says power for altitude, pitch for speed, but in this case, we've got the power out, but we're able to maintain the altitude.
Yeah, we're on the back side of the power curve, and that thing's changed then.
Okay.
But you're right, pitch for speed, power for altitude, and when you're landing and doing other things, it's a combination of the two. And to get out of this, there's two ways. Now, we got a high angle of attack, right? The easiest way to fix this problem is just lower the angle of attack. And you'll see hear the prop change, and we start speeding up. Now, another thing we do is power out of it. We can just add power and power out. Okay, the airplane's speeding up now like a boat getting up on plane, right?
Right.
And that drag goes away. Now the airplane's wanting to speed up, and I'm going to, you know, drop the nose and let the airplane speed up. And I got to pull this back. It's about there, and we're back at 85. And we're back to normal flight again. The airplane's cleaned up. Well, we got a pretty good clean area there. Let's just, you could fly it again and just take us up through there, okay?
My controls.
4,000.
We'll just take a look at Abingdon up here.
Actually, I don't think we're too. I think that's Glade.
You think it's what?
Glade Spring.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, the town, the airport, I saw it earlier.
Oh, okay.
And it's farther out. It might be blocked by a cloud down here now, but it's right along the interstate. But we were at Glade Spring before, right?
Right, yep.
It's getting to be our old stomping ground.
Now, should I be holding at 85?
Well, that's, yeah, ideally.
Okay.
I mean, you know, we're not at 75, but yeah, you can and should learn, try to hold yourself to, you know, discipline yourself to hold an altitude, not wander around too much.
Freeway traffic, good 8054 Bravo, right downwind runway 230.
I swear I saw that airport earlier.
I feel like we're a pretty good ways from it, but I don't know how far, you know, visual-wise, you know.
What's it showing our ground speed now?
62.
Yeah. And we're indicating about 100, 110. So we may have 50 knot winds up here. Now another thing, throw out after you watch a video on true airspeed. Like we're indicating, and you've actually got a knob that I think will you know, help you calculate the true airspeed. The higher you go, the higher your true airspeed. It's more than what you're indicating.
Oh, okay.
So if you're indicating, say 110, you're probably doing about 115 at this altitude, true airspeed. So that's where these jets, you get up to 40,000, you might be indicating 320 and you're actually doing 380 or something. Yeah, it's a big difference up there. At 8,000 feet, it's a little difference, but at 45,000 feet, it's a big difference. Less air to fly through. Very thin air up there. At 18,000 feet, you have half of the atmosphere to fly through that you do here.
Gotcha.
And then above that, it's even a whole lot less. So you got to be going fast and have a lot of power to stay up there. Yeah, you got yourself to 85. Did a nice, smooth job getting up there. Uh-oh.
Snuck it up there.
Right, yeah, that's fine. You can do that, right? It'll work. That's developing a feel for the airplane.
Approaching a Tuxie, setting up for the RNAV 22 approach, low approach only. Rapid state.
I go over that way a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And just for your peace of mind, landing won't be a problem.
Okay.
As I said earlier, you know, these are flyable days. So you get to be a private pilot. If you fly consistently and get the experience, it's a very flyable day. Now, the weather like this is a concern, you know what I mean? You have to worry about these clouds. Like say we're going to Knoxville. Well, if these clouds get high enough, we can't stay above them. Then we got to figure out, and we don't want to get trapped up here on top. I did not, and I want to try. Let me think back for just a minute.
Your controls?
Let's look at the ground and see if we can stop the airplane. We might have 50 knots of wind. I didn't look earlier. I'm going to slow us to 65 again. Look, and you watch our ground speed. You watch.
Right now we're 36.
Yeah, we could just do it with the GPS.
29.
What are we showing?
28. 7. 6. 5. 24.
That's about as slow as we're going to get.
All right.
Now I'm going to lower the nose and power up. Look, I can power right out of this. And we used to have to do this in check rides back in the old days. Power out of stalls without losing any altitude.
Bravo, right downwind runway 23, Grable.
They quit doing that. They decided it wasn't a good practice after 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A couple of airplane crashes.
Twin Lakes traffic, going to November, 6 miles to the south, across the midfield, left downwind.
Okay.
9.
You have the controls.
I have the controls.
Well, another reason it's taking us forever to get up here is because we're not going very fast across the ground. But the good news is it'll be a quick trip back to Mountain Empire.
I go.
Yeah, I'd say turn around. Let's try to find some open ground heading back, but if it starts closing up, we'll have to descend. And we might even have to come back this way to, you know. Seems like Mountain Empire, I think things get funneled into a little gap there, and the weather gets, my experience has been, the weather gets a little worse there. Now look where you're going, turn, yeah, it helps you to turn, keep your attitude, you know, gives you a reference, and you don't want to run into anybody.
Grable traffic, Dakota 8054 Bravo, final runway 23, touch and go, Grable.
Okay. I think the safest thing to do for us is going to be to descend here. Now it's going to be bumpy, but what we'll do is we'll fly slow to smooth out the bumps and go back underneath the clouds. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm going to let you do that so you can get some experience. Yeah, you'll find that you don't have to fight it. You'll just ride the bumps out. Okay, so let's turn around. Let's establish a descent. So pull your power back slowly to 1700. Look where you're going and keep your left turn going.
Keep it going.
Yeah, just keep turning. We're gonna go right down through there. You get to do that. That's gonna be fun.
Twin Lakes 10
Right over
November
here.
across the midfield.
Yeah,
left
pull your
down,
power
wind
back to
29,
17. Just like we're in the pattern. And look where you're going and keep turning and establish a descent. Just like we're in the pattern. Yeah, we're gonna descend down. We'll do a little sightseeing. Look at your hole you want to go through. We want to go through there.
We're going through this hole.
Yeah, we're going to go through that hole to your left.
Okay.
Power back onto 17. There you go. That's good. Now you can use your trim if you need. If you're holding back pressure, just pull back on your trim a little bit.
Okay.
Until you're not holding any pressure on the yoke.
I like it.
Yeah, if you feel good. Okay, see, we got a hole right up here, right?
Right.
We're going to go right down through there.
Stable traffic.
Just keep us in the clear.
Runway 23, Google.
Yep, the hole right through there.
Right through
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we're going to go right through there. Okay, so you can turn loose of the yoke, right? And just take a glance around, see what we're doing. We're 900 feet a minute down. So let's slow down a little bit more so we hit the bumps. It's not too rough, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to pull the power back. You can descend at any speed you want. This is normal, though, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you've got the airplane.
I've got the control.
And you just want to keep us in the clear, okay?
So we're trying to basically go through here and come under that cloud.
Yeah, we're going to come through there and get under that cloud. And then we're going to fly real slow. But we're going to have a kick and tailwind. So it will be back to Mountain Empire in a heartbeat, but we're going to just keep the speed down. Now that's where maneuvering speed, I was telling you, VA, maneuvering speed comes in. You want to know what it is and you want to stay below that. That yellow, if you get in, you do not want to be in rough air up here in the yellow.
Okay.
Okay. But we're going to get down here probably about 80 when we get down here at the bump. So yeah, just turn yourself into that. Let's pull back a little bit.
Ooh,
yeah, you'll be okay.
Goes.
You'll find, what you're going to find out is it's not too bad. You know, you don't have to fight it. Turn, yeah, we want to miss that cloud. And we'll slow down to about 80, and that'll smooth the bumps way out. There's Interstate 81. Okay, let's straighten out for a second so we don't get too close to that cloud.
Yeah.
And I know I saw Abingdon down here. It's like you can't get there from here. It's too much wind.
Right.
And literally, if you were in a J3 Cub, you could not get there. There's Holston Lake.
All right, so turning now.
Tell you what, just for practice sake, let's turn to the right.
Like all the way to the right?
Yep, just turn around, head right back up, hit it east, head right up the interstate. IFR, I follow roads. Yeah. Now I told you those general rules about the altitudes flying east and west. They are general rules because there's a lot of other constraints. What about the cloud cover, right? We can't. What about bumps, you know? What about mountains? You know, all those things. So we want to fly.
So we're under them now, huh?
Yeah, we're under them. We want to fly
It's
at
like
an
all of a sudden we're just not. I mean, it's kind of weird.
Right. Now let's just head right up the interstate.
Okay.
And let's go. We can go at 45. I mean, well, actually, yeah, we want to go at 45 because we don't want to get too low to the ground, right?
Right.
We're still concerned about our engine. I don't want to be low to the ground out here. Let's just keep the RPM at 2,000. So what you're going to see is, normally, the airplane flies, the nose a little bit lower than this, right?
Right.
But at the lower airspeed, we have to create more lift with less speed, so the nose is going to be pitched up a little bit. This is what you call a slow cruise. Now, what this is good for is saving fuel.
Okay.
If you were trying to get to Norfolk with the least amount of fuel burn, you'd fly at a slower speed. So try to fly at 45, 4,500, and about 90. So you can trim it, add power, what you need to do. Look at this. Remember we were slow flying at 2,000 RPM?
Mm-hmm.
But we can also fly around. If we don't get it behind the power curve, we can just motor along. But there is a point where you're going so slow that you burn more fuel because you're pushing the bow wake, you know what I mean? So 80 may be too slow for this thing, so let's do about 90. Let's put about 2,000 RPM, do about 90. It may be too slow for this airplane to be efficient. In the book, it'll tell you what economy cruise is.
Okay.
Hand me that book out of that pocket there, if you would. That's right next to you there. Get it. Flying in, handed the book out. Let's find out what economy cruise is.
It's not too rough at 45.
No,
Not like it was.
Look at your ground speed now.
Oh wow, 105.
100 what?
105.
Yeah, and we're up here we're doing 80 or 90. Yeah, I need to look, see what your VA, now feel that bump there?
Yep.
It would have been a lot worse had we been going, full blast. Seems like 90 is about as slow as it likes to fly.
Well, one thing that I'm noticing is it's about impossible to get it trimmed in this.
It is much more difficult because the plane's sort of teetering between cruise, being on plane and falling, going down into the water.
Right.
And that's the thing when we were playing with boats. It was hard to keep it right there where we wanted. It would sometimes settle in, sometimes plane out, and it was quite a trick.
And Bay River traffic, Dock 5185 Yankee is on a practice DME arc approach just to the south. That citation, what are you climbing to? Alright, roger that. We'll keep an eye out for you. Stay over your way.
hard to see out with the nose up in the air like this, and
Yeah.
but look out to the side, keep your eyes moving around. Yep, try to keep your grip loose, check your trim.
Not as bad on the way back as I thought it was going to be.
Well, yeah. Well,
we're-
it caught you off guard there, taking off, didn't it?
Oh, dude, that was rough. Especially that one bump. Good Lord.
Well, these things they're built to withstand like about 4 Gs.
Okay.
So it's a pretty hard pull. It'll take a hard bump. You're more likely, to be a pilot problem, being uncomfortable, losing control of the airplane or something.
Now, what's that now?
More likely, pilots crash airplanes a lot more than airplanes fail.
Okay, gotcha.
If you took off in weather like that and raining and unfamiliar airport and, basically just lose control of the airplane just because you're overwhelmed would be a more likely scenario than the wing breaking off.
I don't worry so much about the airplane falling apart. It feels like it's going to flip you over or something. It's kind of...
Yeah, I know.
Not likely going to happen, though, is it?
No, I mean, it can. That's that's basically what I was just saying, losing control of the airplane.
Oh, okay.
If it gets flipped over, it's probably because, not that the wind flipped it over, but you lose control of it. This is good practice for you.
Yeah.
I see you with what you're doing. You're flying. You're doing what needs to be done. You're learning here. Very doable. There's Marion again.
Well, there's one thing about it. Today you haven't had to remind me to look outside very much because I don't think I've been able to look inside. a lot prettier outside, and then a lot more that we've had to pay attention to too.
Yeah, see, I came back down here because I was afraid this might close up on us, and I didn't want to have to turn around and go back up there to get down. But it turns out we would have been okay. We could have got down in here.
Well, it wasn't that rough, and like you say, very good experience to do it. So.
Yeah, you're flying. I mean, I see you, and you're holding altitude. Good.
And New River traffic, Dock 585 Yankee is 12 miles to the south on the DME arc. Practice approach, New River traffic.
Oh man, I love this here. That's so much better.
Yeah, there's mountains obscured by the clouds over there.
Yeah.
They're actually sticking up into the clouds.
And citation at New River, are you on the frequency still?
Why are we here in New River? What is that?
They're on the same frequency,
Oh,
I guess.
okay.
So yeah, we're hearing it all the way down here. So what I do, good thing to do is we'll let Mountain Empire traffic know we're coming.
Okay.
And where we're at. Mountain Empire traffic, Cherokee 724, about 3 miles to the west, inbound landing 26. So nobody hollering at us. Well, still, of course, you got your 4 flight, but not everybody's got all the equipment, so you're not going to necessarily see everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's descend to 3,700, okay? Because we want to get down here, so pull it back to about 17. And the nose will drop because the speed drops, right? Lift decreases and the nose automatically drops. It's sort of self-correcting. And then once you get where you want to be, you can trim a little bit, but keep that nose down. That's okay, put the nose down. There you go. Now we're getting close to ground, it's going to get bumpier, okay?
Yeah, and you're going to take over at that point.
I got it. I'll
right.
take it from now.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. I'll do it. Yeah, the closer, and then, but here's another thing that's kind of comforting. When you get right down next to the ground.
I can't believe how much 500 feet made a difference.
It did. I was surprised. That's why I said I'd speak up and let you know. When we get down near the ground, the wind will die down.
Okay.
Because the friction with the ground slows it down. Now, this is right along here, down to about 500 feet is going to be the worst, okay?
Okay.
That'll be the worst. But once we get down to like 20 feet, the air has to move around all these trees and stuff, right? And it just slows it down, smooths it out. Mountain Empire traffic, Cherokee 724, left downwind 26. And the same thing is taking off. I'm not having to fight it. I just have to ride out the bumps.
So can you actually make it worse trying to fight the bumps?
I don't know. I've never fought them.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll make it worse, but I don't think it's going to help anything. But we're going to apply the same pattern. Now, here's where we got to be cautious. I mean, not cautious, but aware. Ground reference maneuver. Remember, turns around a point. So what happens? We got a tailwind, right? So we're smoking downwind. We have to always keep that wind in mind, okay?
Right.
So, and then on the base leg, I'm going to have a pretty good crab in there because the wind's going to blow me away from the airport, right?
Okay.
This headset's falling down on me. Okay. Well, stop that. It's twirling around. Okay, so we're good. Now I want to pull the power back to 17. This thing's flopping around. Okay, so I want to trim 45 degrees back over that way. Okay, I'm going to put a notch of flaps in. Now what I do when I turn this base leg, and of course our ground speed's going to be less because we're going to be on when we start the final.
Whoa.
Because yeah, good. Everything looks good. Speed, we want to be stable. We're going to carry some extra speed because of the gusts. But our normal approach speed plus half of the gust, which is the extra 10. So we'll be doing about 80 probably.
All right, once we get down, remind me to ask you something about the pattern.
Okay, so what we're doing is, I got a pretty good crab in here. I'm only going to use 2 notches of flaps. I'm not going to use 3. Okay, so we're making our turn. And we're lined up.
That's cool.
And we're going to carry extra power because our ground speed is going to be slow, okay? And see how we're pointed to the right? Because the wind's coming from the right a little bit, okay? See, we're stable. carrying some extra speed. Yeah, this is not fun, is it? Not yet.
It's not as bad doing now as it is on take. Like the takeoff, I guess, where you're pitched up and can't see what's going on. It's,
right.
You know, it's a little scarier than this is.
Some of our crosswind just came out because the wind's being channeled right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, that's why earlier I mentioned to you, this is not. We got a ton of runway. Okay, so we're not.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, well, we got to get down and get off the runway. And like I was telling you earlier, when we get down here, the wind begins to die out. Okay. Okay, so we get down next to the runway. Here we go. We're going to keep working with it. Oh, we touched there. Did you feel that?
Yep.
Get the stall horn going. What? We're working for it. So we were hardly moving when we touched down.
That was pretty fun, actually.
Yeah. But we never did get the stall horn.
Huh. Well, we just got a light, but I never saw it come on there.
Oh, there might not be a stall horn in this thing. You said there wasn't, didn't you? There's a horn.
Actually, that's something else I wanted to check on the ground to let you flip that thing and let me see if it even does. Because
Right.
you could manually go out there and flick it, right?
Exactly. Okay, you have the controls. Now, just another point is you got to keep flying it on the ground, okay? Just be aware that this, you know, you can imagine carrying a sheet of plywood in a 50-knot wind.
Right.
Well, you've got those wings out there, right? And the wind's blowing 20 knots, so that's a pretty good force that you need to be, you know, controlling.
And we traffic 5 Yankee, 5 miles to the southwest, and approach.
Oh, yeah. Feet. Feet and the hands, but they're trying to. I was trying to turn.
Yeah, what you do is you keep the ailerons down into the wind. If we got a wind from over here, yep.
Yeah, it makes it more difficult when you're actually using this, and you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yep.
It makes you forget that you got to use your feet by cutting here through here.
Yep.
There
Yep. Right around there.
That was a sweet landing, man.
Well, that's the fun part.
Yeah, I mean that. What is that? A coyote?
Yeah, you know what? And that's some kind of a. I swear it looks like a dingo.
That is exactly what it looks like. But
Yeah.
why would there be one of those here?
I don't know, but it's. I don't think it's a stray dog.
No, it definitely does not look like a stray dog.
That is something I haven't seen. It does not look like a coyote.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's coyote-ish.
Yeah. Definitely bigger than a coyote by a good bit.
I wish I could have kept it on the ground the first time I touched, but a gust picked us up because the first
That
time
was cool though.
the gust picked us up, and I'm like, well, I gotta keep working. So the point there is keep it, not even when it's not nearly as windy as this, but what happens with students generally, just keep it in your mind, is initially it's a lot to do, right? Even on just a normal day. And so what you'll do is, what the tendency for students to do is, they get down near the ground and they just kind of overload, and they're like, that's close enough, and they just stop flying. You didn't see me stop flying, right?
No.
That first time I touched, if I'd have quit flying, who knows what, because the wind just picked us up. What if I'd have quit flying?
Yep.
Who knows what would have happened, right? Well, same thing if you're just flying on a normal day. You get down near the ground with a little bit of crosswind and quit flying, the airplane drifts off the runway. You got to keep flying till it's on the ground, and then after it's on the ground, keep flying. Deal with the wings. And the thing it will definitely bring it, if you were flying in a tail dragger, once it's on the ground, then the excitement really starts.
Really?
Yeah, if you don't deal with it, it'll ground loop on you. You have to, you start flying double time once it's on the ground. You got to handle, because now you got the wheels wanting to go one way, and the air and the wings wanting to go another way. So you have to kind of combination fly, and yeah, you can get away with murder in these nose draggers, but tail draggers will not let you do that. So you can develop bad habits in these things. Tail dragger, you can't develop any, but you can't develop those bad habits.
I wish they had the golf cart down here. I'd like to ride out there and see what that animal.
Oh yeah.
So
let's go down there and turn around and point it back this way into the wind, okay?
Okay, so go down the taxiway.
Yeah, taxiway, and then come back and point it into the wind. Yeah, you want that wind to blow through your cowling to cool it off.
Okay.
That guy with that Cherokee